Rev up your engines.
1997, Scotty, I'm looking at an 09 automatic Matrix X with 48,000 original miles for $10,000. The car's very sound, but it needs recalls done. This is a good purchase. Okay, well, it's 10 years old, and they want 10 grand. That's expensive, but the problem is, you know, they don't make the Matrices anymore, and I've got one. And it's an excellent vehicle. So you're going to be a hard time finding one that's only got 48,000 miles on it that's 10 years old. So the recall is just a bunch of nonsense. It's the airbag crap, and who cares about that? You can take it in if you want, and they have to put new airbags in for free. That's the law. But realize, here's the funny thing. They stopped making the Matrices, which I'm really laughing at now because I thought, why did Toyota stop making the Matrices? People loved them. They were great cars. Well, it was just a decision that they said they wanted to drop the car from their line. It's basically a Toyota Corolla frame and engine and transmission anyways, right? So now I noticed this year, now they came out with the Corolla Hatchback. It's a Matrix. Look at it. It looks almost exactly the same. They're just bringing it back and calling it a Corolla Hatchback instead of calling it a Matrix, you know? I mean, it's kind of silly that they stopped making them, and now they're basically making the same vehicle, only they're calling it a Corolla Hatchback. They're great cars. I don't know why they decided not to make them, but now they are making them and just call them Corolla Hatchbacks. Wolf says, Scotty, what are your thoughts on the 93 Skyline GTR? I'm thinking about getting one as a weekend car. Thanks. Well, those were fun cars to drive. That's old enough, a 93. That was before Renault and Nissan merged. That's when Nissan was still making really reliable cars. A lot of guys turn those things into drifter cars. They can really zip around. They're solid made. But here's the thing. A lot of guys use them as drifter cars and race around in them. You might buy one. It might be completely worn out and be a pile of junk, and you're going to put a fortune into it. So if you are going to buy that car, find a guy like me, a serious mechanic who knows his stuff, to go check that thing out to see what kind of shape it's in before you throw your money out. Because, for example, say it's a young kid who's selling it, don't buy it. They all rag the heck out of those things. So you don't want to do that. Damien Rinkmeister says, Scotty, I'm thinking about importing an 03 to 05 Mercury Grand Marquis to the Netherlands. It'll be my weekend car. I won't drive it much. What's your opinion? Reliability on the air suspension? Well, air suspension systems are just a pain in the butt, but they ride really nice, and you can always fix them on those. It's still a Ford product. Now, realize that here in the United States, the brand Grand Marquis are known as grandma and grandpa cars. So if you're a grandpa or grandma and you want to go with the flow, go right out and get one, you know? I mean, what the heck? And if it's a kind of a cool car, maybe in the Netherlands, people don't drive many of those, go right ahead. They can last quite some time, you know. They're solid built cars. Most of them got that big old V8 engine on them. They'll run a long time, and you say you won't drive it much. You won't care about gas mileage. I know I met people in England that had big old American 60s muscle cars, and they drove them on a weekend into car shows and stuff. They didn't care about the gas mileage, so. The Orange says, hey, Scotty, I'm thinking about buying the last generation Pontiac Grand Prix GTP. What's your thought on them? Don't buy one unless it's going to be a weekend toy like the previous guy who's only get a Grand Marquis and send it to the Netherlands and only drive it a little bit. One of the reasons Pontiac went extinct was because of those last generations. They had so many problems. I would never buy any of the front-wheel drive Pontiac vehicles. They were mainly all garbage. I gotta laugh because you remember, right before they went extinct, they used Matt Dillon to do all those voiceovers on their advertisements, and then they went out of business entirely. You know, maybe he's bad karma. I don't know. Brian Bassett says, what are your thoughts on an 03 Mustang V6? Okay, Mustangs, I'm a fan of the V8 engines. The V8 engines are the ones that I really like. I like the V8 engines. I'm not really a fan of the V6s because they're kind of underpowered and they don't last as long as the V8s. But if you're not a racer and you just want to piddle around, I have quite a few customers that are older customers and they like the look of the Mustang, but they're not racers. They never go over the speed limit. If the speed limit's 75, they go 75. And a V6 engine is perfectly fine for that, you know? Plus, if you're going to buy a used one, the V6 ones are much lower prices than the V8s. And also, since it's the V6, the guys aren't generally as much racy. The V8s, most guys race them around. The V6s, the people that buy them generally don't race as much, so you can get a car that probably isn't worn out.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.